What is going on, guys, and welcome back to the film room. I know it has been quite some time since I last uploaded, so I'm going to provide a quick little update on where I've been. If you don't care, don't blame you. I'll put a timestamp up in the top. You can skip ahead to get to the actual film breakdown, but I did see a few of you commenting on some old videos, kind of wondering what the deal was. So here's the update. I was actually fortunate enough to receive an offer to be the defensive coordinator at the high school of which I played at. And once I started doing that, it just took up a lot of time and energy, and having to break down film of a team I actually coached was put ahead of breaking down some Cowboys film, a team I'm just a fan of. But this past wild card weekend, had some free time. The juices were flowing a little bit after that offensive performance, and I thought it couldn't hurt to crank out a video and kind of get things back and rolling. So appreciate you stopping by. If you're still listening for whatever reason, we'll go ahead and get into the film breakdown right now. All right, now getting into the actual film, going to start off with the opening touchdown to Dalton Schultz. This was a big play for multiple reasons. One, it showed we could score a touchdown against this defense, something we didn't do in our first matchup against them. And two, I think this was a big confidence builder for Dak Prescott in this game. He had a nice throw to Michael Gallup earlier in the drive, but it was mostly the run game and that roughing the passer call that got us down into this spot. So this really set the tone and put him in rhythm for the rest of the game. Looking at the play itself, we're going to start out in a trips bunch here. Motion CD across and see if we get any followers to go with them. Nobody goes with. The defensive alignment doesn't really change all that much. And now Dak can take from this. All right, got a one high safety here. Probably playing cover 3 out of this unless this guy drops back into a quarters look. But we have answers for both. All right, we're going to have T.Y. Hilton go up on this corner route here. Michael Gallup trail underneath to occupy these linebackers. Zeke's going to leak out into the flat, and then CD's going to come up, occupy this guy here, and then Dalton Schultz going to take a little out and up move, try to fit into this window here. All right, letting this play out. You'll see right away, Dak does a really good job on this ball snap, looking off this one high safety to the left, and then just fitting it right in there in the open gap. You'll be able to see this a little bit better from this next view up here. Dak motions across, reads the defense, sees this safety staying one high. At the snap, nobody rolls back, looks him off, and fits it right into Schultz for the first touchdown of the game. Now, of course, we got to give Dak his props on this play, looking off the safety, fitting the throw in there for the touchdown, making the read pre-snap, all that. But it's really the route combinations that set this play up and make life easy on Dak Prescott. Let's see as it plays out, as the routes develop, how it affects the defense. Going up, we're going to see T.Y. Hilton occupying this deep third safety, or this deep third corner here to the left. And look how Dak Prescott's eyes, of course, affect this safety, thinking he might be trying to fit it into this seam here. Another important thing, Michael Gallup here coming across the middle, preventing these linebackers from just sinking and getting depth. If we just took Michael Gallup up the seam here on a 4 vertical route, these linebackers don't have anything to worry about here. They can start getting depth and force a harder throw right here for Dak Prescott. But then it's the out and up move by Dalton Schultz. Get this safety who's playing this flat to curl area right here in his cover 3 zone to kind of bite outside for a second and then snap up real quick. What this out and up route also does is it provides him with the separation to fit into this gap here. If he was to just run a straight seam route from his release, end up kind of right here, that's an easier play for the safety to make, a harder throw for Dak to make. But because he goes out here and then up, he can fit into this window here, and it gives Dak a lot more room to throw the ball. Just great design by Kellen Moore. Really made it easy on all of his players in this situation. Next play we're going to be looking at here was a crucial third down. This was on the drive following that Brady interception, so still up 6-0 with the ball at this point. But these are very, very key moments in games. Third downs between the 40s are the difference between essentially points and no points. You get stopped right here, you're going to have to punt it away. Get the first down up in here, you're likely setting yourself up with points if you get a couple more yards. Now, with how Brad Maher was kicking, I don't know if that would have been true. Luckily, we went down and scored the touchdown following this play. But either way, you want to convert on third down in these key moments. We're just going to run a simple little mesh concept here, have T.Y. Hilton and Michael Gallup drag across the middle, try to put these two linebackers in conflict, see if we can fit something in there. CeeDee Lamb, is going to clear out up the top here. Same with Noah Brown here. And then Dalton Schultz out of the backfield, just going to release in the flat, see if we can drag this linebacker down after him. Looking at the play develop, you'll see Dak does a really good job stepping up in the pocket when he gets that pressure off the edge, delivering a strike to T.Y. Hilton once he settles down in that zone between those two linebackers, picking up some rack after the catch. and getting us into what would have been field goal range. But luckily, like I said, without Brett Maher was kicking, who really knows nowadays? And looking back on this play, you'll see it develop over the middle right there. Dak stepping up, delivering a strike. Something I want to point out, and something we really did all night, I'll point it out in a couple more plays here, is how much we put Lavonte David in conflict in this game. We're giving him essentially 3 reads to make here. He's going to get this initial read on Michael Gallup crossing his face, and then T.Y. Hilton coming back here who settles down in this zone, and then we also have Dalton Schultz releasing out into the flat. So he has a decision to either go with him, which he's a smart linebacker. He's not going to do that. He's going to settle down into his zone. But once he sees this guy out here, they don't have a flat defender because they're playing 4 deep. So he kind of has to occupy that. So we put him in a position of conflict to pick either this spot here because Devin White's eventually going to have to take this crosser here, or go out with Dalton Schultz. And Dak just has to make the read of what he does. And you'll see eventually he goes out and picks Dalton Schultz, which allows T.Y. Hilton to settle down into this zone here and give us a free throw. And when we can pick on a linebacker like Lavonte David, like we did, who is highly regarded as one of the best coverage linebackers in the league, a guy who locked up Travis Kelce in the Super Bowl, that's just impressive game plan by Kellen Moore and Mike McCarthy. And you got to tip your caps to them for being able to scheme this up on a crucial 3rd down and pick it up for us. This next play we're looking at is probably my favorite play for the game for a couple reasons. One, it set us up with 1st and goal after a big Jake Ferguson game. But 2, I think it really went to show how well prepared Mike McCarthy, Kellen Moore, the entire offense was coming into this game. I think we knew a lot of the time what we were going to get out of the Buccaneers defense when we came out in certain personnel packages. This is one of our more popular personnel packages. It's a pretty run-heavy package for us. We're going to bring in Dalton Schultz and Jake Ferguson, a 12 personnel package, as well as Noah Brown here, who we know is our big run blocking receiver. And we do a lot out of this package. We have a lot of options that we can go to really sell the run. And when we bootleg out of it, you've seen it in the past last year against the Patriots in overtime. We ran a very similar play to this out of a similar or same personnel package, and had success. So this is something that we do a lot of, but because of how much we move these guys around, pulling these guys, running counter. We run ISO out of it with Noah Brown. We run trap out of it with Noah Brown. We'll pull these guys. We'll pull them this way, run toss crack. We do a lot out of this. So we give these linebackers a lot of eye candy to have to try and decipher and work their way through. And by the time that they figure out what's going on, Dak Prescott's already bootlegged out and we have receivers running open. So you see here, going to motion Noah Brown across. This guy goes with, we know we got man here, so at this point we're manned up here, manned up here, manned up here. Whichever way Tony Pollard goes, manned up there. Now I want you to watch Zach Martin in particular on this play and watch what he does to Devin White specifically, but also Lavonte David, and how they have to attack down at the line of scrimmage once they see him pull. And all he's really going to do, and the reason that we pull him, is just to kick out this backside end here so that way Dak can have a clean rollout. And look at the space that opens up in there behind Lavonte David and Devin White. Going to go back here. They fall down onto that pool, and look at all the space that just opens up right here for CeeDee Lamb. Now, we don't want Dak forcing anything. We don't want Dak taking too long to reads. Take what the defense gives you. And look at what the defense gives Dak Prescott here. Number 9 here for the Buccaneers. His name's slipping my mind at the moment. He's going to fly down against the run, realize he screwed up, and then just go for Dak. And, well, we know we have man. And who's he manned up on? Jake Ferguson here. And look how wide open Jake gets once Dak boots out. Easy little quick throw to him. And then look at the blocking downfield by CeeDee Lamb and Dalton Schultz to set up 1st and goal here. Just great overall execution. Perfectly timed call. They flew down at the run. Watch Zach Martin again and watch how Devin White reacts to it. Flying down, and look at all that space that opens up. Perfectly timed call and set us up with a 1st and goal play. This is the ensuing 1st and goal play. Ends up getting called back of his Dalton Schultz hold. We're in that same personnel package, but something just cool to point out here. Dak Prescott going and lead blocking for Tony Pollard on this play. Doesn't really lay a hit, but just kind of goes to show the type of Dak Prescott that we get in the playoffs. I personally think that the Dak we get in the playoffs compared to maybe some noon games, the Dak we get in big games, big primetime games, is a different version. It just kind of seems like it wakes him up and we get the best version of him, which I'd much rather prefer than a Kirk Cousins, where it's kind of the opposite. You know, primetime Kirk compared to noon Kirk. Big difference there. So hopefully that can be the case this coming week against San Francisco. But we follow up that play. Holding calls it back because Dalton Schultz got a little bit too much jersey. And we're sticking in the same 12 personnel package. No Brown out here on the field, bringing him in tight. And this just goes to show, like I said, the multiple variations we have in our run game out of this personnel package. And this is why I love when we bring this package out onto the field so much, because we can do so much out of it, whether it be in the run game or the play action bootleg game. And you'll see here, watch Jason Peters here on the left side. We're just going to run a little dart play. Tony Pollard's going to follow behind him. And the resulting play is a nice little run by TP. Look at the shiftiness, the contact balance out of him, getting us down, setting us back up to where we were for second and goal this time around. And like I said, guys, this is the same exact personnel package, but look at what we do this time. We're pulling the tackle across the formation. Look how late Devin White is to get there, and if it wasn't for his speed, this would have been a touchdown given up because of him. Coming in onto this next play, let's see what we got here. Same personnel package, except now we got CD and MG in the game. We're just going to run speed option out of it. I'm really loving the diversity in our run game that Kellen Moore is showing. Maybe this is the stuff he's been hiding all year for the playoffs, because our run game in Week 18 against the Commanders was about as vanilla as it could get. So, hey, maybe we just weren't showing our cards. We're finally starting to use Dak Prescott's legs a little bit more. Thank God. He's a big body. Lower that shoulder. We got Mississippi State Dak putting his shoulder down, getting us down inside the one. Get stuffed here. I mean, it's going to happen on the goal line. You got Big Vita Vea clogging up the middle. Let's see what we run here, actually. Yeah, it's just going to be straight ISO with Connor McGovern, but he gets blown up in the backfield. Good play by Devin White and company here. But, hey, Kellen sees that. Let's go ahead and use their aggressiveness towards them and bootleg Dak out of this. This was an amazing play call, perfectly timed. We even had Dalton Schultz leak out into the flat there as a backup plan, but we didn't need it. Just a perfectly timed play call by Kellen Moore. We were using the Bucs' aggressiveness against them the entire night, and it really paid off here. We've given Kellen Moore a lot of love, and rightfully so. I think he called his best game of the year, but let's shift gears back to Dak Prescott a little bit and look at some of the key throws and runs that he made, especially so on this drive. He was just absolutely clinical on this drive. This was a 2-minute drive to try and go up 3 scores before going into the half, and he was dotting them up. Started with this first play here, just a simple 4 verticals look. And Dak is going to be reading who else? Like I said, Lavonte David. We were kind of picking on him all night and going to try to fit it across his face mask if he goes too far over. Or heck, I think Dak even had the confidence in this game to where if he dropped straight back, he would have tried to fit it in behind him and underneath that safety there. But Lavonte David gets a little bit overzealous to his flat, so Dak's just going to zip one right across his face mask. And tight throw. Waits for it to develop. Perfect throw in stride. Lets Dalton Schultz pick up an extra couple yards after the catch. And you'll see it better from this angle. Watch Lavonte David, top left of your screen. Kind of get a little overzealous towards his flat sprint out there. Dak said that's easy pickings. Let me just zip it into Dalton Schultz. Looking at this next play here, like I said, guys, big third downs between the 40s. Need to pick these up, especially in a 2-minute drive here. This either essentially prevents them from getting any type of points in the half. We go down. We get some points here to close out the half. Keep them at 0 going into the half. And this is what I'm talking about. This is a Dak Prescott that I'm not going to say I'm not used to seeing because he's made plays like this before, but it comes out in big games, diving for the first down, picking up in crucial third down situations, and really putting his body on the line. And that's something that we maybe didn't see all the time in the regular season. Coming to this play here, we're going to come out and empty, split Tony Pollard out wide, and we're going to run that same 4 verticals concept, except instead of Pollard coming from the backfield to get to this spot, he's just going to release on a little drag to get to that spot there. But same thing, 4 verts. Easy play, nothing too complicated about it, except this time we're going to be picking on Devin White over here. And this is a significantly harder throw than the one that we had on Lavonte David a couple plays ago because Devin White actually plays this really well. Devin White was doing a really good job using his speed to drop back and help out these deep safeties in this zone, but Dak just made a better throw. Going to let it play out here. CD's going to release up the seam, get behind Devin White, and look at him cut across the safety's face. That's so important to point out because there were so many times earlier in the year where Dak and CD weren't on the same page about this. There was a couple interceptions we had where Dak and CD were kind of pointing at each other because CD ran behind the safety instead of in front of him, and Dak threw it like he was going to run in front of him. Ended up being an interception. So to see them finally picking up on this and having throws like that over the middle that we have I guess, confidence in Dak to make now that we know that CD's on the same page as him. When we have Dak and CD on the same page, they're arguably one of the best duos in the league, and it's going to show in this latter half of the season where CD has really turned into that true wide receiver one. Now that we picked on Devin White, though, we'll show it one more time just because it was such a great throw. Look at him zip it in there, and then CD body him up and go get it. All right, but now that we picked on Devin White, let's get back to picking on Lavonte David a little bit. Going to split Michael Gallup out wide, still in that 2-minute drill. And Lavonte David, he's going to have to cover Dalton Schultz release now right here. We'll throw it in right behind him if they're going to play off on Michael Gallup. You're going to play off on Michael Gallup, we'll slant you up all day. But now, skip ahead a little bit. Going to have Lavonte David again, and he's going to be a little hesitant to get out on Dalton Schultz this time because we just threw a slant right across his face. Now he's going to kind of bide his time on the slant a little bit, not get out to his flat as quick as he should have, and we'll just throw it out there, get a nice little 8-yard gain to set ourselves up with 2nd and 1 from the 10. Most importantly, get out of bounds, stop the clock, allow us to get a good play call in for this next play, and finish off this first half with a 3-score lead. Look at Lavonte David, kind of a little hesitant. Get it out there real quick and set ourselves up nicely. And this next play just kind of encapsulates the entire night for Dak Prescott in the way in which he used his legs and used his arm to make plays. Going to get some pressure, nothing really opening up here. Not really seeing anything. He could dump it off out there, but he's kind of reading this middle of the field side. He's reading that 3-receiver side first. He hasn't gotten entirely across his progression. And by the time he does, he kind of has pressure in his face, so he rolls out to the left. And Dak, as much as we don't want him to do this sometime instead of just settling to Pollard underneath, he was kind of in a different zone tonight. He wanted to make a little bit of a play. Rolling, thrown across his body, Lavonte David in his face, and zips one into Dalton Schultz. You know the connection that they've had this entire season, and it really showed out tonight. Dalton Schultz in a contract year, he doesn't want to be tagged again. He played the best game of his career, arguably, and as did Dak Prescott. And that's the reason that we were able to put such a whooping on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers offensively. And yeah, that's going to bring an end to this video. Really appreciate you guys stopping by. I know it's been quite some time since I uploaded, so hopefully it wasn't too rusty with everything. But definitely going to try to upload a few more videos as we make this playoff run, hopefully deep into the Super Bowl and end up lifting that Lombardi trophy. Let me know what you guys think, though, about Dak Prescott going into this week against San Francisco. Can he maintain this type of play that he did against Tampa Bay? Is it sustainable for an entire playoff run? I don't know. We haven't seen that kind of consistency yet, but maybe we're finally getting the Dak Prescott that we're paying that $40-something million a year for. As always, guys, like, comment below, and subscribe if you haven't already. Once again, appreciate you all for stopping by, and I will catch you on the next video.